Good morning, everybody. Trish Palmer here, Limestone Coast Master Hypnotherapist and the creator of Specialty Hypnosis Training. So today's video, or today's free training, is all about tonality. Now, much as the title might be quite boring, I'm going to show you exactly why and how we need to actually use the power of our voice. So hi, Corrine, Julie, Mark, give me some love heart, guys. Let me know that you're out there. So let me get started, okay? So one of the greatest tools you have when your client is in a hypnotic trance is your voice. Now, this doesn't matter if they're in a waking hypnosis, in that delta wave or that theta wave, whatever it is, they're still picking up on your energy levels, on the tone of your voice. Hi Chantal, give me some love hearts. So when it comes to the tone of your voice, this is the greatest tool that you actually have. Sure, you might have some really great NLP techniques or a really great script or, even an awesome room or something like that. But the tone of your voice is what people actually hear. 90% of the time, they're not even listening to the words. They're actually listening to the tone of the voice. So we know that any conversation that anybody has, 33% of the information will actually get absorbed. They actually delete and distort the rest and they're not quite sure what happened, sort of thing. So using your tone is how you're going to get the message across. It's not what you said, it's how you said it. So learning to use your voice to enhance your sessions is absolutely crucial. I have been to those sessions, those hypnotherapists, those natural healers that have sat there and gone, now as you relax and breathe deeply, you're going to find your spirit guide and they are going to come into your mind now. Seriously, are you kidding me? That's as boring as dog shit. Like really, it's kind of like a Rivers ad, come in and get our sales right now. We have the most awesome sales. That doesn't compel me to actually want to do anything, be anything, do anything. Hey, it's good branding, but it's boring. Seriously, we don't have to be like that. So when it comes to you doing your sessions, if you come into your session and you're just reading a script, it can just be the same boring old tone, the same speed that your client is having, and it will actually disengage people. I actually get to a stage where I drift off and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even in hypnotic trance right now because all I'm thinking is what other things I could be doing right now instead of listening to this crap. So make sure you use your tone. Sure, you want your client to be actually relaxed and stuff like that, but you don't want to bore them because that's going to lose rapport, that's going to lose prestige, and then they're just going to fall asleep. This is going to happen while they're falling asleep because they're too far into the trance. So hi Kim, Danielle, give me some love heart stuff. So sure, it's great for your client to have a really good sleep whilst they've had their hypnotic trance or something like that, but it's not going to deal with the core issue. And then your client's going to come out of the hypnotic trance and then they're going to say, was I hypnotized? They're going to start planting that seed of doubt inside their mind. They're going to say to themselves, I don't think it worked because I just fell asleep. Or later on they'll be like, it wore off, or I don't think it worked. They start planting those seeds of doubt because they weren't compelled inside their own mind to actually make the change. They actually got bored and then went to sleep. So you got to use your tonality. So when doing your sessions, ensure that you are in the correct physical and mental state for your client. Your client isn't coming to you to be brought down or to feel tired. They're coming to you to be uplifted and to be helped with solutions. I had this situation just this morning where I actually saw, then this includes on Facebook, on your social media, in your emails and stuff like that, sort of thing. Just on Facebook this morning, we had a leader of the industry and they were actually bringing the industry down because of their own self, and hey, I have shitty days as well. But when it comes down to it, you've really got to think, these clients are coming to you to be uplifted, to be helped with solutions. And even though they may not be ready for hypnosis just yet, the point is that you're setting them up for future success as well. So make sure you do that. So if you're doing a free consult or something along those lines, even if they are not ready for hypnosis, they're being a complete douchebag, they're just being an absolute, attitude asshole, then still uplift them for the future of the healing of themselves and of the industry. So when a client is coming to you, they're not coming to you to be brought down or to be degraded or to have your personal opinion put onto them or anything like that. They're coming to you because they've run out of resources and they need help with a solution. Now, whether they want to take on board all of the actions for that solution is a completely different story. But your tone is going to play a huge part in their future healing and their future decisions. So your tone is very powerful when a client is in hypnotic trance. During the pre-talk with your client, use a tone that's a little bit more excited than your client's, because your client is stuck at this level and you need to lift them up a little bit. Because even if you're doing a free consult and they leave that consult and they don't purchase anything off you, but they leave that consult just feeling that little bit better about themselves, they would go, you know what? Trish makes me feel good. That's why I go there. Everything comes down to how people feel. Everything comes down to a feeling or an emotion. So if you lift them up just a tiny little bit, they'll be like, you know what, I feel really good about myself. I'm actually going to start going to that person. So if you use that tone that's just a little bit higher than what your client is coming in at, you're going to help lift them up. Now, if you're too excited, your client will be resilient, okay? If you're underexcited, then they won't even take notice and they think that you're not actually interested in their case or what's going on. So you need to just choose just that little bit higher where you're actually helping amplify them. If they start responding, then try and bring them up a little bit higher again, a little bit higher more, and then all of a sudden you'll be in rapport and prestige and just bouncing off each other, and they've signed on that dotted line, and bam, you've got a new client, setting yourself up for success. So before going into the hypnosis trance, when you're actually doing all of your pre-talk and stuff like that, make sure you use empathy and compassion in your tone as well, reassuring your client that they are safe. Most people haven't done hypnosis, or they have a very bad misconception of hypnosis. So make sure that you're using empathy and compassion just before the hypnosis session actually starts. So I actually say to my client, are you ready to go to the change chair? Are you ready to go to your place of truth and honesty so you can get the results that you're looking for? I'm using that empathy and that compassion in my voice, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. Yep, let's give this a whirl, sort of thing. So they're getting excited because I've used my tone beforehand to lift them up a bit, and then I've used that empathy and compassion tone just before they go into the hypnosis sort of thing, so that they can go, yep, I'm ready for this. I'm all pumped and I'm ready to go. Also, with your client, ask for permission if you can touch them on the hand, etc. I'm going to teach you how to do anchoring later on in the training, and anchoring is one of those things where you actually start to touch your client so that you can anchor in certain emotions and certain post-hypnotic suggestions and things like that. So if you are doing an anchoring session, make sure you have permission from your client to touch them. Make sure that when you touch your client when you're doing your anchoring, you also approach that with enthusiasm, compassion, or empathy, depending on the script that you're doing. There's no point in doing something like a cinema rewind where they're actually releasing a fear or a phobia, and then you're actually tapping them quite firmly and you're going, you will be relaxed. You will be confident. You will be relaxed. That's not going to help the situation, okay? Make sure when you're doing your anchoring that it also has a tone to it. So when I do my inner child healing and the client needs to say that they love themselves or something like that, I make sure I have permission to touch them on the hand, and then I give them a tiny little squeeze when I say to them, and I love you, and you can relax now. Even your touch when you're doing your anchoring has a tone to it. So make sure you use that tonality as well. But always get permission from your client. Even if you have assumed that it's okay to touch them, just say, hey, is it okay if I just touch you on the shoulder or on the hand? And get permission. This is not only getting permission from the client, but this is also opening up the conscious and that critical factor so that you can actually get permission. They're actually already starting to hypnotize themselves that this is working, this is exactly what I want. So you're getting that permission for them to be open and to be safe. At the beginning of your induction, speak at a normal pace. So some people do rapid inductions. As a more advanced hypnotherapist, I'm more than happy to do rapid inductions these days. Bang, client is asleep. But sometimes when you're first starting, you'll actually do what's known as a relaxation induction, and it goes on for about one A4 page. So if you're doing a relaxation induction, start by asking the client to close their eyes and just start reading your script at a normal pace, just like you would any other time. Then about halfway through the induction, slow down your voice to half of that speed, because you're starting to get the client to relax and their heart rate will lower. The information is coming in a little bit slower because they're actually breaking down their conscious and allowing you into their unconscious, and they're starting to relax and breathe deeply. Breathing deeper and slower now, because you're starting to actually slow down that thought place. And then when you get to the countdown section in your script, go half the speed again. Once you've done the countdown in your script at half of the original speed and then half again, that's when you can go back to the normal talking speed, because the unconscious is open now and it's willing to accept any suggestions that are coming in. When asking hypnotic questioning during the script, use a questioning and curious tone. So there are many scripts out there where I will actually talk to parts within that person and they will talk back to me. You'll learn more about that later on in the training, so make sure you just get your tone right for now. So when you're asking hypnotic questioning, use a tone that is curious and has a questioning tone to it. So you can say things like, "You can absolutely do this, can't you? Haven't you? Yes." Make sure you use that tone appropriately, because there's no point in saying, "You can do this, can't you? Haven't you? Yes." That's not going to help. The unconscious is automatically going to pick up and go, this is not helpful for me. It's going to bring back the conscious, and one of two things is going to happen. One, they're going to go to sleep, or two, they're going to go off and think of whether they need bread in their grocery list or something like that. They're going to actually disassociate from you, and they're not going to take in those suggestions and those questions. So make sure you use that questioning and curious tone. When making a statement about questioning, use an uplifting tone and a strong one. You can, you have, you will, you are making the changes now. Make sure you use that tone, because you're actually uplifting the client. They're usually in a future projection mode now, where they're actually seeing themselves out in the future achieving their goal. And they're like, you can, you will, you've achieved this now. You are becoming the person you've always wanted to be. That's an awesome thing. But if they're doing a future projection part and then you're like, yep, you can, you're strong, you're feeling uplifted now, that's not going to help. Again, the unconscious mind is going to go, this is bullshit. It's going to bring in the conscious. They're going to start thinking about the housework they've got to do, picking up the kids, blah, blah, blah. Or they're going to get bored and just go, oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and listen to this person because I don't want to be rude. And maybe when I come out, I'll say, look, I don't think it worked. So make sure you use your tone. You can, you will, you are strong, you can do this. You're achieving your results now. So during times of healing with specific emotions, use the same tone in your voice to reflect that emotion. Now, later on when I teach you anchoring, you're really going to have to use your tone. So when you're doing anchoring, when you're doing an anger emotion, for example, you use an angry tone. So if they're going back in time, hi Leanne, how you going, gorgeous? So if they're going back in time and they're looking for an emotion of anger, and you really want to associate them with that anger memory, use that in your tone. So see what you saw. Feel that anger deep inside you. It was so upsetting. It made you wild. You could feel your heart inside your chest just beating and getting worse. That anger is building inside you. Make sure you use the tone, because you want to bring that emotion out. You want to associate with that emotion so you can then release the anchor later on. Same with sadness, same with worry, same with fear, anything like that. Make sure you use the most appropriate tone. Hi Amanda, give me some love hearts, guys. So make sure you use that appropriate tone. There's no point in saying to someone, you're going into a sad situation now and it was so sad. That's not going to help your client. When I do a sad situation, and it was just so sad, and I couldn't help myself, and my eyes crying, my heart was bleeding, and it hurt so much. So then I can bring out that sadness emotion. And then when I do the happiest emotion, when I'm releasing that sadness emotion, I can actually like, you were great. You were wonderful that time. It was such an awesome day. It was fantastic. And then we can release that sadness emotion right now. That's the difference. This is what's going to make you a high quality therapist, is getting into that character. Make sure you're using your tonality properly when you're using it on those specific emotions. Tone can also come in sounds as well. So this is not just you changing the tone of your voice. You can also use sounds and motions in your script. So when I actually do some of my other scripts, I will actually, there's one script that I use where you wipe dust off an old book. Now this script I haven't used for quite a few years, but you wipe dust off an old book and you reveal your name on the cover. And I'll actually go, and as you wipe the dust off that old book, it's all of a sudden, it's just so dusty. I'm like, oh, the dust. You're struggling to breathe. This book has not been read for a very, very long time. And the client will actually get engaged in that. They're like, oh, so dusty. Because you're bringing out all the senses, and as you hypnotize them more and more, the more they're going to believe that this is working and this is feeling fantastic. And yes, I've made the changes right now. So make sure you do that. There's some scripts where I'll be like, and you feel the breeze blowing through your hair, and I'll actually go, now make sure you brush your teeth with that one, because you don't want a stinky breath if you're going to do that one. But I will actually blow on their softly on their skin. Or I'll say to them, and all of those past worries have been blown away with the wind. So use those motions, use those sounds. This is one of the greatest things. You are acting out a part for your clients, so use them. Get into character. I change my voice completely when I'm talking to a client that's doing their inner child healing. So I'll actually make a childlike tone. I'll be like, I love you. Why did you leave me here? Why did you forget to have fun? We used to get along so well when we were only little. Make sure you get into character, because there's absolutely no point in reading out a script and you're not in character. Even your physiology and things like that, even though they've got their eyes closed, they can still feel that. And people go, oh really, they can feel that? Well, here's an example for you. Close your eyes now, put your hand out in front of you, now touch your finger. You know where that finger is. So that means you can actually feel vibrations and energies outside you. Even if you can actually just feel somebody is just around you in a space and moment of time, even though you don't have your eyes open, they are actually other levels of kinesthetic responses. So make sure that when you're reading your script, you can use your hands, you can use your body language to get yourself into character, because even though they've got their eyes closed, they still know what's going on. It's exactly the same when you're on the phone. They always say, if you want to respond on the phone in a good way, smile. Hi, this is Trish Palmer. How are you going today? Your voice will actually start to reflect that. And as much as your client cannot see that you're smiling on the other end of the phone, they know it's happening. So when placing a post-hypnotic suggestion or a direct suggestion, speak the words at double the normal speaking speed in a one tone that's clear and precise. So when you're doing a PHS, which I'll teach you more later on, or a direct suggestion, make sure you use that one tone, that very melodic tone, and it's at a double the norming speed. Each and every day you will drink more water. Each and every day you will drink more water. Each and every day you will drink more water. Make sure you get it right and do it fluently. If you're just starting out, practice it so that you can actually get those suggestions out fluently, okay? And do it at double your normal speaking speed, at that tone where nobody's really taking notice, but it's sort of just going in and it's just, oh, they said something, because you're actually talking to the unconscious mind now, okay? Now, all of these are in brackets in the scripts. I've written below there, but they're all in the scripts that are in the course if you actually want to sign up for the course. So all of my scripts that I've given you in this course, all of the instructions are in brackets until you start learning to work without scripts, so that you can actually start to create your own custom stuff. So all of the scripts that I give to my students, all of this information is in brackets to help you through until you start nailing it. You're taking your client on a journey. Submerge them into it with your tone and your energy. Your client may have their eyes closed, but they can still feel your energy. They have that tone that's coming through. You don't want to bore them to death, and you definitely don't want them going to sleep. So please join me in the next video. It's going to be all about body language, because we communicate more with body language than what we do with our voice. So I'm going to be talking about that one. So make sure you have an awesome day, everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel, Palin and Palmer. Otherwise than that, have an awesome day, everybody, and make sure you use your tone, because that'll get a message across better than the actual words that you're talking, okay? So go and have an awesome day, everybody. Bye-bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah.